Aquarius, the conversation that clears the air. There is a conversation coming your way that will finally lift the weight you have been carrying for longer than you care to admit. Aquarius, this is not just another passing moment. This is the kind of exchange that rewrites the way you see someone, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. The universe has been quietly arranging the pieces behind the scenes, and now everything is aligning, so that the words you need to hear, and the words you need to say can finally find each other. You have felt it building. That tension in your chest. That unspoken thing sitting between you and someone who matters. Maybe you have been avoiding it. Maybe you have been waiting for the right time. But the truth is, the right time has been waiting for you to stop hesitating. This reading is going to walk you through exactly what this conversation means, how it will unfold, and what it will unlock in your life once the air is finally clear. There are layers to this that go far beyond a simple talk. We are looking at emotional breakthroughs, spiritual shifts, and a kind of freedom that only comes when honesty meets courage. So stay with me through every single section, because the details that matter most are woven into the parts you might not expect. Let us begin. Tip 1. The energy around you right now is dense with unspoken truths, and the universe is no longer willing to let you carry them in silence. For weeks now, possibly even months, you have been walking around with something heavy sitting just beneath the surface. It is not the kind of heaviness that makes you collapse. No, it is more subtle than that. It is the kind that makes you sigh without knowing why. The kind that makes you stare out the window a little longer than usual. The kind that makes you replay old conversations in your head, wondering if you said enough or too much. Aquarius, that weight is not random. It is the accumulation of everything you have chosen not to say. Every time you swallowed your truth to keep the peace. Every time you smiled when you wanted to speak. Every time you let something slide because confrontation felt like too much effort. All of that has been building, and the universe has been watching. There is a spiritual principle at work here that you need to understand. When you hold back your truth, it does not just disappear. It stores itself in your body, in your energy field, in the way you interact with the world. You might have noticed it showing up as fatigue, as a short temper, as a strange distance between you and people you normally feel close to. That is not a coincidence. That is your spirit telling you it is time to release what you have been holding. The energy around you right now is not punishing you for staying quiet. It is nudging you forward because it knows you are ready. You might not feel ready. You might feel nervous or uncertain. But the fact that this reading found you today, in this moment, tells me that somewhere inside you there is a part of you that has already made the decision to speak. You just have not fully committed to it yet. Here is what I want you to understand. The conversation that is coming is not going to destroy anything. I know that might be your fear. I know you might be worried that if you say what is really on your heart, everything will fall apart. But the opposite is true. What falls apart when you speak your truth is only the stuff that was built on illusion. The real connections, the genuine bonds, the people who truly see you. Those things get stronger when honesty enters the room. Think about it this way. Have you ever watched a storm roll through on a hot summer day? The air before the storm is thick and uncomfortable. Everything feels sticky and hard to breathe through. But after the rain comes, after the thunder passes, there is this incredible freshness. The sky looks cleaner. The air feels lighter. Everything seems more alive. That is exactly what this conversation is going to do for you. It is the storm that clears the heaviness so that something fresh and alive can take its place. You do not need to have the perfect words prepared. You do not need a rehearsed speech or a list of points to make. What you need is the willingness to be honest, even if your voice shakes. The universe is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be real. And for someone like you, Aquarius, who has spent so much time living in your head and analyzing every possible outcome, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just open your mouth and let the truth walk out on its own. The energy is building toward this moment, and what happens next depends on how willing you are to meet it halfway. But before you take that step, there is something else you need to know about who this conversation involves and why the timing is so precise right now. Tip 2. The person involved in this conversation is someone who has been holding back just as much as you have, and they are closer to breaking their silence than you realize. This is where it gets really interesting. You might think you are the only one carrying unspoken words, but the truth is, there is someone in your life right now who is going through the exact same internal struggle. They have things they want to say to you. They have feelings they have been sitting on. They have questions they have been too afraid to ask. And just like you, they have been waiting for what feels like the right moment. Now, I am not going to tell you exactly who this person is because your intuition already knows. When I describe them, a face is going to flash in your mind. Trust that. Do not second guess it. Do not talk yourself out of it. The first person you think of is the right one. Your spirit does not lie to you in those quick, instinctive moments. It is only when you start overthinking that confusion creeps in. This person has been watching you more carefully than you realize. They have noticed the subtle shifts in your energy. They have picked up on the moments when you pulled back or went quiet. And they have been wondering what changed, what they might have done, or what they could do to bridge the gap that seems to be growing between you. But here's the thing. They are just as afraid of saying the wrong thing as you are. There is a mirror effect happening here. Both of you are standing on opposite sides of the same wall, both wanting to reach through it, both afraid that the other person does not feel the same way. The universe is tired of watching this standoff. That is why the energy is shifting right now. That is why synchronicities have been showing up in your life. Maybe you keep seeing their name. Maybe a song comes on that reminds you of them. Maybe you dream about them or think about them at random moments throughout the day. Those are not accidents. Those are cosmic nudges telling you that the connection between you and this person is still very much alive, and it is ready to evolve. What makes this moment different from all the other times you have thought about reaching out is that the energetic conditions are finally aligned for both of you. In the past, one of you might have been ready while the other was not. One of you might have been open while the other was guarded. But right now, in this specific window of time, both of you are at the same level of readiness. Both of you are tired of the distance. Both of you want resolution. And that mutual desire is what makes this conversation not just possible, but inevitable. You do not have to force it. You do not have to manufacture some dramatic moment. Sometimes the conversation starts with something as simple as a text message. Sometimes it begins with a look across the room. Sometimes it happens because one of you finally has the courage to say, "Can we talk?" Those 3 words might feel small, but they carry the weight of everything that has been left unsaid. And once they are spoken, the floodgates open. I want you to release the fear that this person does not care. They do. I want you to let go of the story you have been telling yourself that you are the only one feeling this way. You are not. And I want you to stop waiting for them to make the first move because they are over there waiting for you to make the first move. Someone has to go first. And Aquarius, with the energy that is surrounding you right now, you are in the stronger position to lead. You have always been someone who can see the bigger picture, someone who values truth over comfort. Now is the time to use that strength. But this conversation is not just about clearing the air with this one person. It is about something much deeper, something that connects to a pattern you have been repeating for years. And that is what we need to look at next. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. You have developed a habit of protecting yourself through silence, and that habit has quietly been costing you more than you realize. Let us go deeper now because this is where the real transformation begins. Aquarius, you are someone who thinks deeply. You process everything internally before you ever let the world see what is going on inside you. And while that is a beautiful quality in many ways, it has also created a pattern that has been holding you back. You have learned somewhere along the way that staying silent is safer than speaking up. Maybe you learned it in childhood. Maybe you learned it from a relationship where your words were used against you. Maybe you learned it from watching someone you loved get hurt because they dared to be honest. Whatever the origin, the lesson stuck. And now, silence has become your default setting whenever things get emotionally intense. But here is what silence actually does when it becomes a habit. It does not protect you. It isolates you. There is a critical difference between choosing peace and choosing avoidance. When you choose peace, you address the issue, find resolution, and move forward with a clear heart. When you choose avoidance, you push the issue underground where it festers and grows and eventually poisons the very connection you were trying to protect. And if you are honest with yourself, you can probably think of at least 2 or 3 relationships in your life that suffered not because of what was said, but because of what was never said. The cost of chronic silence is enormous, And it shows up in ways you might not immediately connect to the pattern. It shows up as resentment that builds slowly until it explodes over something trivial. It shows up as emotional numbness, where you stop feeling things as deeply because you have trained yourself to suppress. It shows up as a quiet loneliness, even when you are surrounded by people, because no one truly knows what is going on inside you. And it shows up as physical symptoms: tension in your jaw, tightness in your shoulders, headaches that come and go without explanation. Your body keeps the score of every word you swallowed. This is not about blaming you for a survival strategy that served you at one point. There was a time when staying quiet was the smart thing to do. There was a time when speaking up would have caused more harm than good. But that time has passed. The circumstances that made silence necessary no longer exist, yet the habit remains. And the universe is asking you now, gently but firmly, to update your operating system. The old software served you well, but it is no longer compatible with the life you are trying to build. The conversation that is coming is your opportunity to break this pattern. Not by saying everything all at once in a flood of emotion, but by simply allowing yourself to be honest in a single moment. That is all it takes to start rewiring the habit. One moment of truth. One sentence that you have been holding back. One admission that feels vulnerable but necessary. When you do that, you send a signal to your nervous system that says, it is safe to speak now. It is safe to be seen. And your entire body begins to relax in ways you did not even know it was tensed. I know this is not easy for you. Aquarius energy is brilliant and visionary, but it can also be emotionally guarded. You live so much in the realm of ideas and ideals that sometimes the messy, raw, uncomfortable world of human emotion feels like foreign territory. But you are not here to stay comfortable. You are here to grow. And growth always happens at the edge of your comfort zone, never in the center of it. What I want you to carry into the next section is this awareness. The silence you have been choosing is not neutral. It is active. It is creating distance, breeding misunderstanding, and keeping you stuck in a version of your life that is too small for who you are becoming. The conversation ahead is not just about this one person or this one situation. It is about reclaiming your voice as a tool for connection, rather than using your silence as a shield against it. Tip 4. The timing of this conversation is connected to a larger spiritual cycle that is pushing you toward radical honesty in every area of your life. Nothing in the universe happens by accident, and the timing of this conversation is no exception. Right now, there is a significant energetic shift happening that is specifically affecting how you communicate, how you process emotion, and how you show up in your closest relationships. This is not just about one talk with one person. This is about a wholesale transformation in how you relate to truth itself. You may have noticed that over the past several weeks, things that used to feel manageable have started feeling unbearable. Small annoyances that you used to brush off now get under your skin. Situations you used to tolerate now feel suffocating. Relationships that used to feel comfortable now feel stagnant. That is not because things are getting worse. It is because you are outgrowing the version of yourself that was willing to accept less than what you deserve. Your tolerance for inauthenticity is shrinking, and that is a sign of tremendous spiritual growth. This cycle is asking you to get honest, not just with this one person, but with yourself. It is asking you to look at every area of your life where you have been settling, pretending, or performing. Where have you been saying yes when you mean no? Where have you been laughing when you wanted to cry? Where have you been agreeing just to avoid conflict? These are the questions the universe is placing on your doorstep, and the conversation that is coming is the entry point for all of them. There is a reason this is happening now and not 6 months ago or a year from now. 6 months ago, you were not ready. You did not have the emotional vocabulary or the spiritual maturity to handle what this level of honesty requires. But you have been doing the inner work whether you realize it or not. Every moment of reflection, every night you lay awake thinking about your life, every time you felt that restless stirring in your chest telling you there has to be more. All of that was preparation. All of that was building the foundation for this moment. And here is the beautiful part. When you step into this conversation with honesty, it creates a ripple effect that touches every other area of your life. Suddenly, you find it easier to set boundaries at work. Suddenly, you find yourself speaking up in situations where you used to stay quiet. Suddenly, the relationships that are meant for you start showing up because you are finally broadcasting who you really are instead of who you think people want you to be. Honesty is magnetic. When you live it, you attract people and opportunities that match your true frequency. But I also want to be honest with you about something. This process is not always comfortable. There will be moments when the truth feels like too much. There will be moments when you want to retreat back into the safety of silence. There will be moments when the other person's reaction is not what you hoped for, and you will question whether speaking up was the right choice. In those moments, I need you to remember this. Discomfort is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is a sign that you are shedding an old skin, and every snake that sheds its skin goes through a period of vulnerability before it emerges stronger and more vibrant than before. The spiritual cycle supporting you right now is not going to last forever. There is a window of energy that is open, and it is urging you to move. Not recklessly, not impulsively, but with the kind of calm, grounded courage that defines the highest expression of your sign. Take the step, have the conversation, clear the air, and watch how everything begins to shift. But before you do, there is a specific emotional block you need to address, and it has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Tip 5. The fear that is holding you back is not actually about this conversation. It is about an old wound that never fully healed. This is where we need to go beneath the surface, Aquarius, because the resistance you feel toward having this conversation is not really about the conversation itself. It is about something older, something deeper, something that happened a long time ago that taught you that vulnerability equals pain. There was a moment in your past, and you know exactly which one I am talking about. When you opened up to someone, when you let them see the real you and it did not go the way you needed it to. Maybe they dismissed what you shared. Maybe they turned it against you. Maybe they simply were not capable of holding the weight of your honesty, and they crumbled under it. Whatever happened, it left a mark, and that mark has been quietly influencing every relationship and every conversation you have had since. You might think you have dealt with it. You might think you have moved on. But the fact that your chest tightens when you think about having this upcoming conversation tells a different story. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. And right now, your body is sounding an alarm that says, "The last time we did this, we got hurt. Do not do it again." That alarm is not truth. It is trauma masquerading as wisdom. Here is the distinction I need you to make. There is a difference between intuition and fear. Intuition is calm. It speaks softly and clearly. It does not create panic or urgency. It simply guides you toward what is right. Fear, on the other hand, is loud. It creates worst-case scenarios. It fills your mind with images of everything that could go wrong. It disguises itself as logic, saying things like, "This is not the right time," or "They probably do not want to hear it," or "What is the point of bringing it up now?" Those are not rational assessments. Those are fear responses designed to keep you in the safety of the familiar, even when the familiar is slowly suffocating you. The old wound I am talking about created a belief inside you. A belief that says, "If I show people who I really am and what I really feel, I will be rejected or abandoned." That belief has been running like background software in your mind for years, and it has been making decisions on your behalf without your conscious awareness. Every time you pulled back from emotional honesty, that belief was driving. Every time you chose surface-level conversation over deep connection, that belief was at the wheel. And every time you told yourself that you did not care about something when you actually cared deeply, that belief was protecting you from the vulnerability it convinced you was dangerous. But you are not the same person you were when that wound was created. You have lived more life. You have gained more wisdom. You have developed more resilience than you give yourself credit for. The person who got hurt back then did not have the tools or the perspective or the strength that you have now. And the person you are about to have this conversation with is not the same person who hurt you before. You cannot keep punishing present relationships for past wounds. That is not fair to the people in your life now, and more importantly, it is not fair to you. Healing this wound does not require years of therapy or some dramatic breakthrough moment. Sometimes healing happens one brave conversation at a time. Sometimes it happens when you feel the fear and speak anyway. Sometimes it happens when you realize that the worst-case scenario in your head is almost never what actually unfolds in reality. Most of the things you have been afraid of have never actually happened. And the things that did happen, you survived. You are still here. You are still standing. That alone is proof that you are stronger than any conversation. The old wound wants you to stay quiet. Your higher self wants you to speak. The question is, which voice are you going to listen to? And what you decide next will determine not just how this one conversation goes, but how the rest of your relationships unfold from here. Tip 6. The words you choose matter less than the energy you bring, and the universe is asking you to lead with compassion rather than correction. Now that you understand the emotional landscape beneath this conversation, let us talk about how to actually approach it. Because there is a temptation, especially for someone as intellectually sharp as you, to go into this conversation armed with arguments, evidence, and airtight logic. You might feel the urge to prove a point, to show the other person where they went wrong, to make your case so thoroughly that they have no choice but to agree with you. But I need to tell you something important. That approach will backfire. This conversation is not a debate. It is not a trial. It is not about winning or losing. It is about reconnecting. And reconnection does not happen through intellectual superiority. It happens through emotional honesty delivered with compassion. The moment the other person feels like you are attacking them or criticizing them or trying to make them feel small, their walls go up. And once those walls are up, nothing you say will get through, no matter how correct it might be. So instead of thinking about what you want to say, I want you to think about how you want the other person to feel during this conversation. Do you want them to feel defensive? Or do you want them to feel safe? Do you want them to feel judged? Or do you want them to feel understood? Do you want them to feel like they are on trial? Or do you want them to feel like they are in the presence of someone who genuinely cares about finding resolution? The energy you bring into the room will set the tone for everything that follows. If you walk in with anger, the conversation will become a fight. If you walk in with blame, the conversation will become an accusation. But if you walk in with openness, with a genuine desire to understand and be understood, the conversation will become a bridge. And bridges are what you need right now. Not walls, not weapons. Bridges. Here is a powerful shift in language that can transform how the conversation unfolds. Instead of saying, "You always do this," try saying, "I feel hurt when this happens." Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I need to feel heard." Instead of saying, "You are wrong," try saying, "I see it differently and I would like to understand your perspective." These are not tricks or manipulation tactics. They are invitations. They invite the other person into a shared space where both of you can be vulnerable without being punished for it. Compassion does not mean you avoid the hard truths. It does not mean you water down your feelings or pretend everything is fine. Compassion means you deliver the truth with care. It means you acknowledge the other person's humanity, even as you hold them accountable. It means you remember that they, too, are carrying unspoken things, fears, wounds, and stories that you may not fully understand. When you lead with that awareness, you create the conditions for a conversation that heals rather than harms. And here is something that might surprise you. When you approach someone with genuine compassion, they often end up saying the very things you needed to hear. Because compassion disarms people. It makes them feel safe enough to drop their armor and speak from the heart. And when both people in a conversation are speaking from the heart, miracles happen. Misunderstandings dissolve. Old hurts get acknowledged. New understandings emerge. And the relationship transforms into something deeper and more authentic than it has ever been. The universe is not asking you to be soft or weak. It is asking you to be strong in a different way. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who shout the loudest. They are the ones who can sit in discomfort, hold space for another person's pain, and still speak their truth without flinching. That is the kind of strength you are being called to embody right now, and it is going to change everything. But compassion is only half the equation. There is another crucial element that will determine whether this conversation truly clears the air or just stirs it up. Tip 7. Listening will be more powerful than speaking in this conversation, and what you hear might completely change your perspective. There is a reason you were given 2 ears and 1 mouth, and this conversation is going to remind you exactly why. Aquarius, you are brilliant at thinking. You are excellent at analyzing. You can see patterns and connections that most people miss. But when it comes to truly listening, not just hearing the words but absorbing the meaning behind them, you sometimes fall short. And in this particular conversation, listening is going to be your superpower. Here is what I mean. You have spent a lot of time building a narrative in your head about what the other person thinks, feels, and intends. You have analyzed their behavior, interpreted their silence, and drawn conclusions based on your observations. And while your assessments are probably partially accurate, they are also incomplete. Because you have been working with limited information. You have been filling in the gaps with assumptions, and assumptions are notoriously unreliable narrators. When this conversation happens, you are going to hear things that surprise you. The other person is going to share perspectives you never considered. They are going to reveal feelings you did not know they had. They are going to explain motivations that you misread. And in those moments, you are going to have a choice. You can either cling to your existing narrative and argue against what they are telling you, or you can let go of what you thought you knew and allow their truth to expand your understanding. I am asking you to choose the second option, not because your perspective is wrong, but because it is only one piece of a much larger picture. Every relationship is a collaboration between two people's realities, and you cannot truly understand the dynamic until you have sat inside the other person's experience. Listening gives you that access. It is like being handed a key to a room you have been trying to see through a keyhole. Suddenly, everything opens up, and the view is so much richer and more complex than what you could see from the outside. True listening requires something that does not come naturally to most people, and that is the willingness to be changed by what you hear. Most of us listen with our response already forming in our minds. We are not really taking in what the other person is saying. We are just waiting for our turn to talk. But this conversation calls for a different kind of listening, the kind where you genuinely set aside your agenda and become fully present to another human being's experience. The kind where you let their words land in your body, not just your mind. The kind where you sit with what they have said before rushing to respond. When you listen at that level, something remarkable happens. The other person feels it. They can sense the difference between someone who is politely waiting to talk and someone who is truly receiving what they are sharing. And when they feel truly heard, they soften. Their defenses drop. Their honesty deepens. They start sharing things they did not even plan to say. Because the safety of being genuinely listened to opens doors that nothing else can. And here is the part that might shift everything for you. When you listen deeply enough, you may discover that the thing you were upset about was not actually the real issue. The surface-level complaint or frustration was just the tip of an iceberg, and underneath it lies something much more tender. Something that, once you see it, changes how you feel about the entire situation. Maybe you will discover that what looked like indifference was actually fear. Maybe you will realize that what seemed like rejection was actually self-protection. Maybe you will understand that the distance between you was not because they stopped caring, but because they cared too much and did not know how to show it. These revelations only come through listening. You cannot think your way to them. You cannot analyze your way to them. You can only receive them by being still, being present, and being willing to let someone else's truth reshape your understanding. So before you walk into this conversation with your list of things to say, I want you to make a commitment. Commit to listening first. Commit to understanding before being understood. Commit to holding space for whatever comes, even if it is uncomfortable, even if it challenges your narrative, even if it asks you to see yourself in a way you have been avoiding. That is where the real clearing happens. Not in the speaking, but in the deep, courageous act of truly hearing another person. And once you have heard them, once you have truly taken in their experience, what you say in response will carry a completely different weight. Tip 8. After this conversation, there will be a period of emotional processing that you must not rush, because the healing that follows will reshape your relationships from the ground up. I need to prepare you for something important, even after the conversation goes well. And it will go well better than you expect. There is going to be an aftermath, and that aftermath is not a sign that something went wrong. It is a sign that something is going right. When you clear the air with someone after a long period of silence or tension, your emotional system does not just snap back to normal overnight. There is a processing period that needs to happen. Think of it like surgery. The surgery itself might be successful, but the body still needs time to heal. The same is true for emotional breakthroughs. The conversation might go beautifully, but your heart still needs time to integrate what happened. During this processing period, you might feel unexpectedly emotional. You might cry without knowing exactly why. You might feel a strange combination of relief and grief. Relief that the truth is finally out, and grief for all the time that was lost to silence. You might have trouble sleeping for a night or two as your mind replays the conversation and processes the new information. You might feel a deep tiredness that is not physical but emotional, as if your soul is exhaling for the first time in months. All of this is normal. All of this is healthy. And all of this is necessary. The worst thing you can do during this period is try to rush through it. Do not tell yourself to get over it. Do not push yourself to act like everything is fine when your insides are still rearranging. Do not distract yourself with busyness or numb yourself with mindless activity. Instead, give yourself permission to feel everything fully. Sit with it. Let the waves of emotion wash over you without trying to control them. They are cleaning you out, and when they pass, you will feel lighter than you have in years. This processing period is also when the deepest insights will come. In the days following the conversation, you will start seeing things more clearly. Patterns that were invisible before will suddenly become obvious. You will understand why certain things happen the way they did. You will see the connection between past experiences and present dynamics. And most importantly, you will start to see yourself more clearly. Your strengths, your blind spots, your capacity for growth, and your incredible resilience. The relationships in your life are going to feel different after this. Not just the relationship with the person you had the conversation with, but all of your relationships. Because when you clear one major emotional blockage, it creates flow in areas you did not even realize were stagnant. You might find that a friendship suddenly deepens. You might find that a family dynamic shifts in a positive direction. You might find that your relationship with yourself becomes more gentle and more honest. These are the ripple effects of clearing the air, and they extend far beyond what you can see right now. I also want you to know that the other person will be going through their own processing during this time. They might reach out to you with additional thoughts. They might need a few days of quiet before they are ready to connect again. Do not interpret their silence as rejection. Give them the same grace you are giving yourself. Healing is not linear, and everyone moves through it at their own pace. What matters most during this time is that you do not undo the progress you made. Do not backtrack. Do not apologize for being honest. Do not try to take back what you said because you are worried about how it landed. You spoke your truth, and that truth needed to be heard. Stand in it. Own it. Let it be the foundation upon which a new chapter is built. The healing that follows this conversation is going to be one of the most significant emotional shifts you have experienced in a long time. But it requires patience. It requires trust. And it requires the willingness to let yourself be transformed by the process rather than trying to control it. And just when you think the transformation is complete, something even more unexpected is going to happen. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. The conversation will reveal a hidden truth about what you actually need in your relationships, and it is not what you have been telling yourself. Here is something that is going to catch you off guard. During or after this conversation, you are going to have a revelation about your own needs. Not the needs you have been consciously aware of, not the needs you have been articulating, but the deeper, quieter needs that have been driving your behavior from the shadows. Aquarius, you have a tendency to intellectualize your emotional needs. You turn feelings into concepts. You transform desires into philosophies. When someone asks you what you need, you give them a thoughtful, well-reasoned answer that sounds impressive, but does not actually capture the raw, simple truth of what your heart is aching for. And you do this because raw, simple truths feel too vulnerable. They feel too exposed. It is much safer to wrap your needs in intellectual packaging than to just say, "I need to feel like I matter to you." But this conversation is going to strip away the packaging. It is going to bring you face to face with needs you have been denying, minimizing, or disguising. And when you finally see them clearly, you might feel a moment of embarrassment or discomfort, because they are going to seem so basic, so human, so ordinary. And for someone who prides themselves on being unique and unconventional, ordinary needs can feel like a betrayal of identity. Let me tell you something. Needing to feel loved is not ordinary. It is universal. Needing to feel seen is not basic. It is essential. Needing to feel safe enough to be yourself is not simple. It is the foundation of every meaningful connection you will ever have. These needs are not weaknesses. They are what make you human. And denying them does not make you stronger. It makes you lonelier. The revelation that is coming will likely center around one core truth. You have been so focused on being independent and self-sufficient that you have forgotten how to let people in. You have built your identity around not needing anyone, And while that has given you a certain kind of freedom, it has also given you a certain kind of isolation. And deep down, beneath the layers of self-reliance and intellectual detachment, there is a part of you that desperately wants to be held, understood, and chosen. Not for what you do, not for what you know, just for who you are. This is not a flaw, Aquarius. This is your humanity trying to get your attention. And this conversation is going to be the moment when you finally stop fighting it and start honoring it. When you let yourself acknowledge what you truly need, you give the people around you the chance to actually show up for you. Because the truth is, many of them have been wanting to. They have been waiting for you to stop pretending you have it all figured out and just let them love you. But you keep the door locked and then you wonder why no one comes in. The hidden truth this conversation reveals will not just change how you relate to this one person. It will change how you relate to intimacy, vulnerability, and connection in general. It will soften you in places you did not know were hard. It will open you in places you did not know were closed. And it will show you that the strongest version of yourself is not the one who needs nobody, but the one who is brave enough to need someone and to say it out loud. This realization will feel like coming home to a part of yourself you forgot existed. And from that place, everything in your life starts to make more sense. Tip 10. The cleared air will create space for something new to enter your life, and the universe has already been preparing it behind the scenes. Now we arrive at the part that makes everything worth it. Once this conversation happens and the air is cleared, you are going to notice something extraordinary. Space opens up. Not just emotional space, although that will be significant. I am talking about actual, tangible space in your life for new things to enter. You see, when you are carrying the weight of unspoken truths and unresolved tension, your energy field is full. There is no room for anything new because the old stuff is taking up all the available bandwidth. Your creativity gets blocked. Your motivation dips. Opportunities seem to pass you by, and you cannot figure out why. It is not because the universe is withholding from you. It is because you are too full of stagnant energy to receive what is trying to come through. Think of your energy like a closet. If every shelf is packed with old clothes you never wear, there is no room for the new wardrobe that would actually make you feel confident and alive. You have to clear out the old to make room for the new. And this conversation is the equivalent of a deep, thorough cleaning of your emotional closet. Once you do it, you are going to be amazed at how much space becomes available. What is coming to fill that space is something the universe has already been preparing. It has been orchestrating things behind the scenes, aligning people and circumstances and opportunities in anticipation of your breakthrough. It has been holding certain blessings in reserve, waiting for you to create the opening they need to arrive. And once the air is cleared, those blessings are going to start flowing in with a speed and precision that might take your breath away. This could show up in multiple areas of your life. In your relationships, you might experience a new depth of intimacy and understanding that you did not think was possible. In your work or creative pursuits, you might find a surge of inspiration and motivation that propels you forward in exciting ways. In your health and well-being, you might notice that physical symptoms you have been dealing with start to ease as the emotional tension releases from your body. In your spiritual life, you might experience a heightened sense of connection and purpose that guides you toward your next chapter with clarity and confidence. The key is to stay open. After the conversation, after the processing period, after the healing, stay open. Do not let old habits of guardedness creep back in. Do not close down just because the intense period has passed. Keep your heart available. Keep your mind receptive. Keep your spirit tuned to the frequency of possibility rather than the frequency of protection. Some of what is coming will arrive in ways you expect, but much of it will arrive in ways you never could have predicted. The universe is endlessly creative in how it delivers blessings, and sometimes the greatest gifts come wrapped in packaging you do not immediately recognize. A chance encounter, an unexpected invitation, a sudden knowing that you need to go somewhere or do something without any logical reason. Trust those impulses. They are the universe guiding you toward what it has been preparing. You have done the hard part by having the conversation and clearing the air. Now comes the beautiful part, allowing yourself to receive what flows into the space you created. And what is flowing toward you right now is bigger, richer, and more aligned with your true self than anything you have experienced in a very long time. Tip 11. Your voice is not just a tool for communication. It is a spiritual instrument, and this conversation is teaching you how to use it at its full power. There is something sacred about the human voice, and most people go their entire lives without truly understanding its power. Your voice is not just a mechanism for transmitting information from one brain to another. It is an energetic force. It carries your intention, your emotion, your truth, and your spirit. When you speak from a place of deep authenticity, your voice has the power to heal, to connect, to transform, and to move people in ways that logic alone never could. Aquarius, you have been using your voice at a fraction of its capacity. You have been using it to think out loud, to share ideas, to engage in intellectual discourse. And all of that is valuable. But there is another dimension to your voice that has been dormant, and this conversation is going to wake it up. It is the dimension of emotional truth. The dimension where words are not just containers for thoughts but vessels for feelings. The dimension where what you say matters less than how deeply you mean it. When you speak your truth in this conversation, not your analysis, not your assessment, not your philosophical perspective, but your raw, unfiltered truth, something will shift in your vocal cords. Something will change in the quality of your voice. The other person will hear it. They will feel it. And they will respond to it in a way that is fundamentally different from how they respond to your usual mode of communication. Because when someone hears truth, real truth, it bypasses the intellect and goes straight to the heart. This is not about being dramatic or emotional for the sake of it. This is about allowing your voice to carry the full weight of who you are. Think about the times in your life when someone said something that changed everything. It was not because they used fancy words or constructed a perfect argument. It was because they spoke from such a genuine place that their words landed with the force of truth. That is the kind of power your voice has, and you are about to discover it. After this conversation, you are going to notice a shift in how you communicate across all areas of your life. You will find it easier to say what you mean and mean what you say. You will notice that people listen to you differently, not because you are louder or more forceful, but because there is a new quality of authenticity in your words that commands attention naturally. You will find that your conversations become more meaningful, more connected, more real. The small talk that used to fill your interactions will start to feel insufficient, and you will crave and create deeper exchanges. Your voice is a gift, Aquarius. It was given to you not just to communicate but to connect, not just to inform but to inspire, not just to describe the world but to shape it. And this conversation is the moment when you stop treating your voice as a tool and start honoring it as the spiritual instrument it was always meant to be. Every word you have been holding back has been accumulating energy, and when you finally release those words, they are going to carry a power and a resonance that surprises even you. The conversation that clears the air is not just an event, it is an initiation into a new way of being. And once you step through that door, there is no going back to the silence. Tip 12. This is not the end of a chapter. It is the beginning of a completely new way of living, and everything after this conversation will prove it. Aquarius, I want you to understand something about where you are standing right now. You are at a threshold. On one side is the life you have been living, the familiar patterns, the comfortable silences, the relationships that work just well enough to avoid the discomfort of change. On the other side is a life that is fuller, more honest, more connected, and more alive than anything you have experienced before. The conversation that clears the air is the doorway between these two lives, and you are about to walk through it. Everything I have shared with you in this reading has been building toward this understanding. The unspoken truths, the old wounds, the fear of vulnerability, the power of listening, the hidden needs, the space for new blessings. All of it converges in this one pivotal moment. And when you step into it with courage and compassion, you are not just resolving one situation. You are setting a new standard for how you engage with life. From this point forward, honesty will become easier. Not because it stops being scary, but because you will have proof that the rewards of truth far outweigh the risks of silence. You will carry the memory of this conversation as evidence that speaking up does not destroy things, it liberates them. And every time you face a future moment where the old instinct tells you to stay quiet, you will remember how it felt to clear the air, and you will choose courage again. Your relationships are going to transform. Not just the one that is at the center of this reading, but all of them. Because you are going to carry a different energy into every interaction. An energy of openness. An energy of honesty. An energy that says, I am done pretending, and I invite you to be done pretending too. Some people will match that energy, and your connection with them will deepen beyond anything you imagined. Others may not be ready for it, and they may step back. And that is okay, because the relationships that fall away were never built on the real you. They were built on the version of you that was performing, and that version is retiring. The path ahead is not going to be free of challenges. There will still be difficult conversations. There will still be moments of uncertainty and discomfort. But the difference is that you will no longer be running from them. You will be moving toward them with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you have survived vulnerability before and come out stronger on the other side. That confidence is not something you can fake or manufacture. It can only be earned through experience, and this conversation is going to earn it for you. I want you to hold on to one image as you move forward. Imagine yourself standing outside on a cool, clear morning after a long night of rain. The air is fresh. The sky is wide open. Everything around you looks washed clean, vibrant, new. That is how your life is going to feel after this conversation. That is the energy that is waiting for you on the other side of this threshold. And all you have to do is step through. Aquarius, you were born with the gift of vision. You can see possibilities that others miss. You can imagine futures that others cannot conceive of. Now it is time to use that gift not just to dream about a better life, but to build one. And building starts with the single brave act of opening your mouth, speaking your truth, and letting the air finally clear. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is the conversation that changes everything, and everything that comes after it. Every relationship, every opportunity, every moment of peace and connection will trace its roots back to the day you decided that silence was no longer an option. The energy is already shifting. You can feel it. The pull toward honesty is stronger than the pull toward comfort. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is standing right beside you, whispering, "You are ready. You have always been ready. Now go." You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving. The only question is whether you are.